Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how you can get a file listing as text on your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, I'm often asked how you can get a file listing as text to put into a document. Maybe you need to do a report or wrap up a project and have a listing of all the files in folders and subfolders for that project. There are a lot of reasons you may want to do this, but how to do it seems pretty elusive in the Finder. There's no obvious function for doing it. But you can do it using some simple copy and paste tricks, and you can also do it in the terminal. So to do it without using the terminal at all, just some simple copy and paste, you can do it by selecting the files that you want, copying them, and pasting them into a document. But you have to know a trick. So let's start first with an example here. Let's say I want to get the complete file listing for everything in the projects folder here. So I open up this project folder and there's a lot of files in here and some subfolders as well. Now if I were to select some files like this one here and shift click to select this one, you can see I got that whole range, and I can go to edit and copy 11 items, and this will allow me to actually paste the files, make a copy of them somewhere else. But if I open a text editor like TextEdit, then I can paste it and I get something different. So here I'm in TextEdit and I have a plain text document. So if I go to Format, it says Make Rich Text. That means I'm using plain text. So you're going to want to use plain text for this, because if you try to paste these files in a rich text, it's going to do things like actually try to import the image files and such. But plain text will force it just to have the file names. So I'm going to do Command V or Edit and Paste. And now you can see I get a listing of the files there. So this is a start, but it's not going to get us all the way. Because here's what would happen if we were to do that and have some subfolders as well. So here we have a subfolder with more files in it. And you can see there's this one here. So I can select this file and I'll shift click to select to here. So you can see I've got this one inside of more files. If I do Command C to copy and then I paste, you can see I get the folder name there, but I get the file in that folder, and it doesn't indicate that it's actually in that folder, and then this one is not. So you can see it's not an accurate representation of what's there. But there is a better way to handle this. If you go to Edit and then you see where it says Copy 6 items, if I hold the Option key down, that will change to Copy 6 items as path names. So Option Command C will do that. And then I go to the text file and I paste, Command V. Now you can see I get the full path names. So I could see that this file here is in the projects folder, but I could see that this file is in projects, more files, and then there's the file name. So I get a complete picture of exactly where each thing is. Now let's say I want to get everything in this projects folder here. I'll dive down into it to make it easy. I can do Command A to grab all, but that doesn't grab the files inside the folders here. I have to open it up and you can see these aren't selected. So one way to open all these up is with Command A, you have everything, and now I can do Command and then right arrow, and you can see how that opens up all of the folders there. So now I've got everything open up, and another Command A selects everything. So I've got every file and every folder here. Now if I use Option Command C to copy as path names, I go to my text document and I use Command V to paste in, I'll get everything, every file in every folder. So this may be all that you need. But if you want to take it a few steps further, you can. Notice, for instance, that all of these start off with the same path. They're part of the projects folder. So I really don't need that. I could actually select that, copy, do Command F to find, and find all of those. Check the Replace box here and replace it with nothing. Click All, and now I've actually removed that path there. I still have any deeper paths. So for instance, here's that Project Alpha folder. Here's Project Alpha subfiles. So this gives me a little more compact view. Now another thing you can do with Replace All here is look for every slash. So every slash is simply a new folder. And I can replace that with a tab to get a better view of what's going on. So with the text cursor blinking in the Replace field, I click this little magnifying glass here, the search icon. And I select Insert Pattern and I choose Tab. So now it's going to replace every slash with a tab. If I click All, now you can see I get this nice listing here where I can much more clearly see the folders and subfolders. Not only that, I can use the Option key and click and drag, and this selects a rectangular area. So I can select all of the users MACMOST documents projects here like that. And if I press delete, now I get rid of that and I just get the folders and subfolders under projects. Now if you want an even better view, one thing you can do is save this file, Command S, and I'm going to save it to the desktop. Call it just files.txt. You want the .txt extension. Now I'm going to run numbers, and in numbers I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to open that txt file. It's going to recognize that there are tabs in there, and it's going to create a spreadsheet based on that. So you can see here I've got all the files, and here are the folders with files in them, and down one level and everything. So you get an even clearer look. You could also go back. I'm going to undo twice here. And instead of tab, I'm going to do something like dash dash and then a greater than symbol like that. Maybe a space before and a space after like that. And when I replace all, you can see I get something that looks like this, which may be easier to read. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to get this formatted like you want. Now what about doing this in the terminal? Let's launch the terminal app. And the first thing I want to do is go to that folder. So I can use CD for change directory and drag the folder into the terminal window, and it will paste in the path and then return. And now I'm at that location. So now I can list the files in there. I can use ls, for instance, to list the files. It's not a great list, but maybe this works for you. You can also do ls-l, and it will give a file listing like this with some information about the files. But there are better ways to do it. One way that I know people are going to mention is to use tree. But tree is not something that comes installed on your Mac. You have to install it, and I know most Mac users won't do that. So that's fine. I'm going to show you ways to do it without using tree. You can use find. So I could do find and then an asterisk and then the dash print. And what this will do is it's going to find all the files in the current directory. And you can see that works. It gives us a pretty good listing here. You can see here's a folder and there's the contents of that folder with each file in it. And it gives us a really complete look of what's in there. So this may be all that you need. But we can get a little better on this because it would be nice, for instance, to list this and then to indent these underneath the folder there. We're going to add something to this command. So it's still going to use find-print, and then it's going to pipe that to this command here, which is going to basically look for a slash and then any characters and another slash. In other words, a folder name at the beginning there, and it's going to replace it with a tab. And it does a little more than that, but it's a basic substitute there. When we run this, it's going to give us the same lines, but we're not going to get the paths there. We're going to get tabs instead. So you can see here I get the folder name, and then I get each file in the folder tabbed underneath it. Now, a problem with this is that sometimes there are files that actually have contents inside them. So for instance, here's launchcalculator.workflow, and that's just a file, but it's a package. So it looks like a folder to terminal, and it has a folder in it called contents and a bunch of stuff in there. And this isn't what we want. We just want this file listed, not all of the stuff inside the package. It gets even worse with other things. Like here's this apply quartz composition filter.app that also contains a bunch of stuff inside a package. And you have all this stuff in here that you don't want to see. So it'll be nice to have a way to just have this as one file. So here's a further alteration of the code. We still have this part here that puts the tabs for the paths, but we also are going to use a grep here that's going to look for any time that there is a period, a literal period in the path. So it's not going to worry about the file extension. It's just going to worry about the path. So any period that is before the last slash. And it's simply going to filter out those lines. So this will work in most cases. If you've got some folders that actually have periods in the names, then it will mess this up and you're going to have to get a lot more complex. But this is what we get when we do it this time. And we could see that we don't get the listing for the apply quartz composition filter.app. It's just shown there once. And the same thing here in that workflow file. It's just there that one time. So it's a little more normal of a listing. One issue I see here is that things are sorted alphabetically, but the capital letters come first and then the lowercase letters. You can see them all here at the end. So let's make another alteration. All I've added here is another pipe into sort-f, which is going to sort everything, and it's going to place the lowercase and uppercase together. So you can see here everything is properly sorted. You can see lowercase letters appearing in with the uppercase letters just fine. And I want to show one more thing here. You're going to get a lot of these .ds store files, and they're invisible files. So it's going to be useful to maybe just get rid of those. So here's a quick way to do that. Back here, after we eliminate the lines that have a period before the last slash, we could put an or, which is the same as the pipe symbol. And we'll use that, and then we'll put whatever we want in there. I'm going to do capital DS underscore capital S TORE. So also any lines that have DS underscore store in them are going to also be eliminated. So when I run this, you now won't find that .ds store file. And I use this as an example because you can go back in here and add anything else you want. So you can do another pipe there and then just type anything, and it will not include files that have that in the name. So it's a good way to eliminate some things that you may not want in your file listing. And now once you have this, you can always copy and paste the results. So I can go back in here, grab the end, drag all the way to the top, and just start right here and do a copy and paste. But you can build that into the command by using a pipe and then pb copy, pasteboard copy. And now when I run this, it gives me no results. But if I go to text edit and then Command V to paste, it pastes it in because the pb copy here at the end sent the results to the clipboard. And one final bit here, because I know I'm going to get asked this, is can you make this a shortcut? And sure you can. So let's create a new shortcut here. I'm going to call this get file listing. I'm going to search for select file. And what I actually want this for is not for selecting a file, but if I click here, I can select a folder instead. Under show more, I just want it to be one. And now I want to get the details of the file. So I'll put that next. And the detail I want is the file path. And if I were to run this now, it will prompt me. I can go here to my documents folder, and here's that projects folder, open it up, and I can see the result there is the path. Great. So now I can do a shell script, and I can use the exact same shell script we've been using all along. I'll drag that in here, and I want to change directory CD, and in quotes, I want to use the results of this. So I just control click, two finger click, or right click here, insert variable, and use the file path right there. So this will change directory to this directory here. And now I just need to paste in that same find command we were using in the terminal. So I'll paste that in. And now when I run this, it will prompt me for folder, open, and I get the listing here just like I did before. I can copy and paste from here. I could simply use copy to clipboard here as the last thing. So now when I run this, I can select the folder, open, it'll finish. It'll give me the output, but it copied it to the clipboard. So now I'll switch to text edit here and paste in, and I've got my file listing. So it's a little handy way to do this. I could add it as pin and menu bar. So now I've got access to it right here. You may be asking why I didn't have it take a folder as input, so you can actually use a quick action in the Finder and get the path from that quick action. That works sometimes, but definitely does not work other times. So I went with this, which was more consistent to be able to get the path. So there you go, a bunch of different techniques that you could use to get file listings as text on your Mac. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.